Welcome, Gemini. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to read the card that I pulled for you, the Strength card. The beautiful thing about this particular deck is the Strength card is shown as a cactus as opposed to the typical picture of the maiden and the lion. The cactus is the main plant in the desert that is filled with water. And becomes a home, a domicile, a nest for incredible species of birds, insects, even animals. This represents, and certainly in many places in the desert, depending on which desert you're talking about, the cactuses grow large. The saguaros in the southwest are bigger than humans, and have a very human-like presence in the desert. So these beautiful plants are like trees and contain all the nourishment within that is aligned with the spiritual power, the incredible inner strength that this card speaks about. This is not loud, brash, showy strength. In fact, many cactuses are pretty foreboding looking on the outside. You would not want to draw near. There's no warm or fuzzy. But this is about the power that resides within you and that gives you the ability to persevere when others are flagging and to offer assistance to those who don't have or haven't identified their strength or their talent that they can work most productively from. This is a general reading, Gemini, so it's not going to resonate for all of you. If you're interested in a personal reading, information for that is in the description box below. So welcome again. For your present, you have the Tower. And this is really describing some major change. This can be change in a plan for more education, for travel, for connecting with an overseas ally, business travel, giving a lecture, creating a course that's distributed to people throughout the world, online, globally. Something may have happened in the mechanisms that you were relying upon to institute this travel or to move you into or onto a course of information, a distribution, a publication that you were planning. Something has been disrupted. Something has thrown a chink into the machine, and you are now in a position of recognizing, regardless how things have fallen apart, that there is some opportunity for you to shift things in a direction that more closely suits your plan or your ultimate goal. So your travel, for instance, may have been shifted with the possibility to go to another location, or the course you wanted to give is now being shifted to a different department, or the publication you were planning on launching or the presentation you were going to give now has a different or a broader audience than before. The possibility of that. These are examples of the kind of disaster, ruin, or catastrophe that you may be processing and responding to with a better idea. In the past, the Nine of Swords, you have really worked hard to divest yourself of all the relationships and obligations that were draining you, that were not serving you, that actually represented a different story, a different condition that you once accepted as a norm. These conditions, these relationships represent a kind of oppression, an inability to see or value you, an assumption or being taken for granted that you were there for the abuse of others. You have released that, understanding that this is the allowing yourself to feel the emotions of this departure, of the shift, is the final stage of the release. So it is admitting to the suffering and the pain. It is allowing yourself to feel the pain of not only the experience, but of the separation. That's part of it. No matter how difficult our captors are, we grow to have a relationship with them. They become our norm, and losing them, even if for the better, is still a process of separation that can be difficult. In the future, the Seven of Swords. So, where you're going, there is still a lot of resistance to your ideas, to your project, to your presentation. There are many who are still not able to release a former idea they had of who you were and what your capacity is. There are people that are shocked by the path that you're on, by the success you're having, or the authority you've gained. And yet they are still resisting your ideas, mostly out of fear. And because you know that, you are taking in the information that is useful, even though a lot of the feedback you're receiving from some people is not intended to be constructive. You're still listening, you're still observing the trend in resistance, because if these are haters, there will be haters at the next stage. They always exist. When you're trying to do something, there are always people that don't get it or don't want you to achieve it. And now that you understand that, you don't internalize the nasty things people say or the unkind feedback. You no longer allow this to block you. You just factor this in as part of the path to your success. You understand that resistance, people that challenge you, are part of the deal, and you have an obligation to address those concerns, no matter how unconstructive or fear based they seem. You are more than ready for this. You are so prepared. You have had so much experience dealing with naysayers that you simply can handle this, can respond with a better idea. You can turn any argument of resistance into one where you can highlight something positive or beneficial about your project, your idea, or your pathway. If this reading is resonating with you so far, Gemini, please like this video. Please share this with others, and please subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. I appreciate all of you who encourage and support me to continue giving free readings. And I pulled self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. And this is absolutely in alignment with this idea that you now accept criticism. Those who are no longer, that cannot understand your ideas or are fearful of the loss of the you that they knew, the reliance they once had on you to be there, that is no longer an obstacle to your moving forward. You no longer internalize that. In fact, you understand it really isn't even about you, that it is about them, but it does emerge as a responsibility you have to address those things that are raised as criticisms, as absences, as oversights on your part. So there's a double-edged sword to this. I'm going to clarify the Tower card in the present with the Five of Swords and the Chariot. I do believe that you are brushing aside the really, in some cases, quite hostile barbs, the resentments of others, those that feel threatened by your branching out, your taking a turn, standing on your own ground, expressing your own ideas. These are things that somehow you are not allowed to do in their world. And these are ironically people that have relied on you, depended upon you to provide their needs, to help them, to support them. And you're now moving those things aside, pushing those away so that in fact you can focus on your goals and not allow yourself to be distracted by people wanting you to fix shit that they can fix themselves. It's amazing how much of that you have done, how much of that you believed you had to do, and now with a clear vision and a new innovation, a new project you're willing to start, you need all of your time to be focused on the direction of building towards that goal. And you now understand how much time was wasted in catering to those that didn't value what you had to offer. The beautiful thing is that you're moving from your heart now, so it's easy to forgive these people. It's easy to understand that they are operating from a fear base, a fear you no longer have. In the past, the Nine of Swords is clarified by the Justice card and the Four of Swords. You've really processed a lot of the challenging experiences you've had in order to understand why they had to be. And you are emerging from that with a sense of gratitude that, in fact, those challenging experiences had to be in order for you to better define yourself, your mission, and your forward movement. And in that way, you are grateful. And this gratitude is what constitutes your spiritual foundation now. You view challenges as opportunities solely. And this also is what is giving you the sense of peace and balance in your life. All of the challenges, all of the blocks, all of the unkind words and behaviors that were leveled at you at your attempt to grow, to be, to do, are finally put in their place. You finally understand and appreciate their value. Who'da thunk it, right? And in that way, you also emerge as an advocate for others who have been in similar places. So this becomes part of a strategy for you building your team, building allies, balancing those relationships that support and value you and that are necessary as you move forward in this new opportunity. In the present, the Seven of Swords and the Knight is clarified by the Knight of Swords and the Queen of Cups. There's a lot here about the way that you are turning the old assumptions around and challenging them in a way that helps you to forgive those who have harmed you in whatever way that you perceive they have, that desire to harm you. But you're understanding that it is through open discussion, conversation, to asking the right questions, to being curious. Are you able to elicit the responses and listen to the responses in a way that helps you and others see the chinks in the argument? This is because ultimately you're coming from a place of love. You're not coming from a place of resentment, anger, or hostility in challenging these old perceptions and ideas about you. You really are understanding that it's taken you a while to understand the benefit of this resistance that you've experienced. And as a result of that, now, because of all these challenges, you are experiencing so much healing, so much self acceptance around your unique gifts and talents, is understanding that you are the way you are for a very good reason, that your contribution is unique, that it can't be made by anyone else, that the world needs what you have. And this is filling you with a sense of healing, acceptance, calm, peace, and resolution as you move towards implementing and expressing your labor of love into the world. I am going to finish this reading with a crystal oracle, warning you that they can be very irreverent and cheeky, which is much needed. And I pulled the Larimar. And the mantra is slow your roll. Who needs it? The hot-tempered. Where to put it? When super agitated, stop, drop, hold Larimar in your left hand and commence cooling breathing, i.e., stick out your rolled tongue and slowly inhale and exhale like you're sucking through a straw. When to use it? When you feel like all of the world's problems are suddenly just your problem. When anger stands between you and the formation of articulate sentences, remember, chill is a choice. Ride the cool breeze with Larimar. Thank you so much, Gemini, for this reading. Until next time, namaste.